Well, hello. It is Sarah Jane from Access Your True Nature. And I just want to, first of all, say thank you for all of you that have been responding to these newsletters, to the daily Facebook lives where I share daily doses of body mind medicine to really help and support you to move through these chaotic times and into a place where you can create peace and calm no matter what is going on around you or in your animals' lives. And to remember that you came to this planet to live your life purpose. And on this journey to living your life purpose, stuff happened. Parents, siblings, death, breakups, cultural conditionings, hurt, traumas, self-doubt, and many other bumps and bruises along the way. And when this stuff happened, it slowed you down from living fully into your true nature, because the stuff may have completely wiped your life purpose from your own conscious memory. And I know, because I live in my own petri dish of daily experiments in how to live trigger free, free from anxiety, free from depression, and free from this yearning to find a way to heal the brokenness that is becoming more and more visible. And if you're here with an active heart, you, like me, are feeling the pain of the earth and wondering how on earth we can find ourselves in a space where we can really trust and trust in ourselves and trust in life. And how do you do this? Because it happened to me, and it's happened to many others like us, where we have at one stage or another, or perhaps you're in that place right now where you are feeling confused and unfulfilled and more lonely than ever. So here's the plan. We first all need to remember that we're always going to be triggered when we feel unsafe or have our boundaries infringed on. But the freedom comes when we can learn the basic foundational skills of secure attachment and how to stay present, how to trust fully that what is happening in the moment is there to grow and evolve you. We're wired to respond to danger through that reptilian brain and a nervous system that is wired to keep our body alive. And you can learn to deconstruct fear so that it can move through your body-mind complex in a healthy way without being taken under in the experience of the triggered implicit memories. And I want to guide you back to creating your own secure attachment through mindfulness and body-based movement. And to remember, I teach this in the trust process and most of my programs, that we have to remember to slow things down and go at the pace of our physical body, not at the pace of our mental construct. And that's key if we're going to live responsibly and not reactively. That we have to stay focused without getting caught up in all the trigger mechanics of the old stories that happened normally from our pre-3-year-old, definitely pre-7-year-old. So how do we change how we experience the world from a place of safety when everything outside of us is telling us that it's not safe? It's not safe to feel. And if you can't feel, you can't heal. So if you've got a history of trauma, remember that the small triggers become large very quickly, and they take up a lot of physical, mental, and emotional space in our bodies. And evolutionary psychology tells us that we're designed for survival. Our brains have been evolving for something like 6 million years, and during most of these millennium, humans had to make instantaneous decisions. You know, should I move towards this, or is it a bad threat like a saber-toothed tiger that's going to eat us for dinner that we need to run like heck away from? To survive in the old days meant scrounging for food, gathering, hunting, making shelter, reproducing, cooperating with others to protect us against all kinds of threats, which generally were urgent and immediate and often unrecoverable. So we have a tricky brain. This is how Paul Gilbert, the founder of compassion-focused therapies, puts it. As a result, your body reacts instantaneously to negative stimuli. And negative stimuli produces more brain activity than positive stimuli, creating more intensity and more tension in our bodies. That it compromises our immune system and makes us sick or make us feel like there is no way to get through it. Negative stimuli is also perceived much more easily and rapidly in the brain than positive stimuli. So if you missed the video that I did a couple of weeks ago on negativity bias, I suggest that you watch that first. I've pinned it to the top of this post before you continue reading this. So now that you've done that, does it make sense that you have an alarm bell in your brain that is called the amygdala that uses about 2/3 of its neurons to scan for bad news? In other words, that part of our brain is primed for threat, which quite quickly gets stored in memory. Rick Hansen says our brain is Velcro for negative experiences, but Teflon for positive ones. And that's a great way to remember it, isn't it? Because none of us are alone in our tendency to be negative, to feel the worst, to doubt that things are ever going to get better. It's especially true when we feel vulnerable or threatened. There's so many areas of our life that this can happen in. We're afraid of loss, of bad things happening to us or to the ones that we love. And we worry about natural disasters, of the state of grief in looking at, what's happening to the sentience on the planet, what's happening to our food supplies and our water supplies, and how we're treading very unkindly upon the earth. So does it make sense that when we're afraid of loss, of bad things happening, that we do doubt if we can make it out alive, or we doubt that we'll be able to figure it out? We anticipate being shamed or blamed or rejected or humiliated or ridiculed. And these worries and fears come up at times without anything seemingly triggering them. Researchers have found that all of us tend to learn faster from pain than pleasure. And that pain gets encoded or imprinted in us, prepping us to be ready, to be mobilized at the least opportunity. So what does that mean about healing? Well, healing means we have to be aware of how easily and quickly our brain is wired to make us afraid, constantly triggered, even just at a low level. And it's why in the midst of many good things that happen, that we focus on the one thing that hurts and gives us pain and threatens us, and we miss the celebration and the acknowledgement of the small wins that we had. We can change and we can shift that negativity bias. And I like to call it developing a positivity bias. Using the ancient wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine and body talk and attachment theory and a multitude of body-mind medicine skills has been the way to heal my own trauma. And I've helped thousands of people and animals over the past almost 18 years now to be their own medicine, to trust their body's innate wisdom to heal itself, and to really be listening before we respond, and turn that negativity bias towards finding a new orientation. To do that in many ways. One of them just being willing to practice the art of appreciation, active appreciation or gratitude. So how do we do this? Well, today I want to share with you 7 steps that are going to assist you in developing a more positive outlook on life, and also to realize the power of choice is yours. So you can either use up your energy in the fear and scarcity and lack and of the negativity bias, or you can flip it and look at what's right about you that you're not getting. So the first step in creating this is the training, is to pay attention to what sensations and feelings and thoughts and emotions are drawing your attention, and then turn it around. The second way is to withdraw from reactivity, the power of the pause. And if you didn't see the video I did about that, I'll link it below as well. So our tendency is to get caught up in whatever triggers us. We all know that. It spins us into reactivity. So what we really need to do is to disentangle ourselves from the reactivity by practicing the power of pause, or any kind of grounding technique like box breathing, or just going out in nature barefoot and grounding yourself with the earth. So using what works for you and being willing to try new things. The third step is to know that there's predictability in everything. You can count on that. And that when you realize that turbulence will come up as you start to shift gears, that you're going to have pushback. And you're going to need to become familiar with all those kinds of turbulence that are habitual to you, so that you can notice it and shift your focus to something more nourishing. Dr. Phil says you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. And this is one of the times that I actually do agree with him. The fourth way is to practice small, tiny acts of self-compassion, because it is essential in practicing self-love to counteract the negativity bias and grow your child parts up. The fifth thing to do is to take a break, right? To push pause on the world from whatever is activating you, which might even include creative forms of dissociation to help you downregulate the stresses that are presenting in the moment. The sixth step is actively finding evidence for goodness in your life. Kind of like that act of appreciation that I was talking about, is to gather evidence instead of false evidence appearing real, which is what fear is in the absence of love, and to find memories to buffer the tendency to go down that old familiar path of your negativity bias. This is where animals, especially horses, have shown me the beauty of the lies that I've told myself. What they mirror is that there are lies of self-limitation. They are lies of self-harm and labels and negative thoughts that we place on ourselves. And that animals, especially horses, present us with this incredible opportunity to be in our vulnerability, in our transparency. And they see our armor with love and compassion. So as we stand with horses, or perhaps with your dogs or your cats, look for the opportunity to connect with your heart and your desire in an effort to feel safe. Because horses and other prey animals and loyal dogs and cats are always going to reflect and mirror back with your truth and tell you to love with an open heart, to trust your intuition. And this has been life-changing for me. So practice gratitude and an act of appreciation as ways to nourish your heart and your soul, and do this like 20,000 times a day. Yes, I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but think of how much and how often you are immersed in negativity. In order to shift that tendency, we need to actively pursue experiences that evoke the opposites. And remember, there's nothing to hide and nothing to prove. It's learning to organize the jumbled mass of internal information that helps us to live a more satisfactory life. We all want better. And that's our birthright to thrive. And yet we forget, because we're so prone to going into looking at what's wrong rather than what's right about that. And this concrete rewiring is what the Out of the Blues from Anxiety and Depression to Calm, Peace, and Fulfilled Living, my online home study program, does, one step at a time. So as we create the structure inside us to organize our inner and outer worlds, we find we need more. We need to shift into that positivity bias. And a lot of times you need support to do this because you can't see your blind spots. They're blind. They're called blind spots for a reason, because you just cannot see it when you are in that state of reactivity. So either way, it's consistent training. It's in the training, in the practice that helps you to become Velcro for more positive experiences and more, and Teflon for the negative. So make room to trust in yourself and in life and your body and others for your true nature. Supporting your instinct to connect and be related, what we call pro-social, is vital to your healing and living a fulfilling life. As you get mirrored back to who you are really and accept and seen, a fundamental inner basis for a solid, secure, steady sense of self is building and growing you. So returning to trust and becoming secure is a core aspect of all the courses I teach, so that you can cultivate the self-worth and confidence to participate, be an active participant in creating a world in which you want to be fully embodied in the present moment. You are the one that you've been waiting for. So to create peace and calm, we have to rise rooted in the wisdom of your innate body mind wisdom, because then you can free yourself from pain and suffering and set yourself free. I've been putting together a bunch of free resources so that you can reclaim the confidence to claim the life you know you are here to live and to trust fully. So watch out for that. And in the meantime, I'm moving my daily offerings off my personal Facebook page, and delivering daily doses of body mind medicine to support you in living trigger free over on my business page. So to be sure to follow me there, and for everything animal related over on my animal communication page. And if you are ready to be the authority of your own life or want to help your animal friends stay vital and healthy, just click follow on those Facebook pages and you'll be notified when I go live. So let's make each precious moment count by coming together to create a new world through the power of each small and mighty choice we make. Become safely embodied and create your own security. And as always, tread gently on the earth beneath your feet and your soft animal bodied. And I will meet you there. I send you much love and deep appreciation for who you're being in the world. Lots of love, Sarah Jane. Bye.